You're listening to Make Today Count podcast. I'm Jessica Morari, certified life and career coach, and I will be your host. If you're ready to think better, choose better, and act even when it's messy, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's make today count. Hello. How is your week going? Are you still thinking about your own definition of success from last episode? That's good. Today, we're going to talk about something very close to me, which is, of course, personal development and coaching. The coaching world is huge right now, I'm telling you. I'm going to start with a confession because the current coaching industry is a scam. I said what you heard. And this comes from someone who has made personal development and coaching a business and a lifestyle. But what's been sold right now, what I see out there when I open Instagram and watch few reels, just give me the chills. So I know what you're thinking. Jessica, are you going to do a whole episode to criticize what you mostly believe in? Kind of. Especially because I truly believe in what I do and I really experienced on myself and on my clients the transformation and the impact that coaching and development have on people. I cannot let you go on, live your life with so many distorted ideas that I keep seeing out there. And yes, I'm a coach, which means today I'm going to do something slightly risky for my own marketing and analyze one by one some of the myths and lies about my own world. And I say some because there are so many. But I committed to keep the episode under 20 minutes, so I will share the most common ones. So grab a coffee, water, tea, gin, whatever your therapy in a mug is. And let's start with myth number 1. You don't need a coach if everything is okay in your life. When I hear something like this, I always smile because there is an underlying implication in these words that coaching is for broken people. That growing and evolving and transforming can happen just because you don't like who you are anymore. And if you know me, you know that growth doesn't have to start from I'm broken. It can start from I'm human and I want to expand and evolve as much as I can. I can be absolutely happy with the person I am and the life I have and still wanting to grow and evolve. Evolution and growth are the most human and natural things in the world. Imagine a seed that grows into a tiny little cute plant and then becomes a bigger tree and then becomes a huge centenary oak. While you watch the tree growing, you don't think, well, the seed must hate being a seed and that's why it's growing into a plant. No, it's just following its nature. We're meant to evolve and to grow. And that's why coaching is not just for people that have a problem in their lives or they don't like their current situation or that are not satisfied with whom they are. Coaching is not only for crisis. On the contrary, it's also for people who are functioning and capable and just want better. We all have the capacity of doing so much more of what we've done up until now. If we had the courage and the commitment and we're really willing to go through the discomfort of making it happen, we can really take a step closer to our potential. Myth number 2, change has to be dramatic and instant. We are so obsessed with dramatic transformations. And I can prove you by the amount of before and after pictures that I get hooked on every time I watch anything on Instagram. It doesn't matter if it's a house renovation, a belly turning into a 6-pack, or anything that has to do with cleaning. I especially love Lonza carpets. Anything, we always look for that instant reward, that dose of dopamine, of that immediate gratification. Sometimes I realize that people expect dramatic changes after 45 minutes talking to a coach. I mean, if you could really actually change someone else's life in 45 minutes, we wouldn't live in the world that we have right now. Yes, coaching is powerful, but it's not magic. There are some people that they have epiphanies, and their mind just click in one session or in one event. But most of the times, change requires time and patience and work. And I know that that's not as sexy as telling you that you're going to get confidence back in 20 days, or promise you that you're going to be standing in front of hundreds of people delivering a tech talk in less than 6 weeks if you buy one of my courses. But that's the truth. What we need to start doing is to start paying attention to the cues to see that change. Sometimes they can be more evident. Sometimes they will be more subtle. But the important thing is to keep evolving, no matter the pace. For you, a big change can be maybe having a slightly different conversation with your boss, or maybe learning to say no when you would normally say yes, or even going to bed 20 minutes earlier instead of scrolling. I always say that consistency beats intensity, and it's the small things that at the end of the day, they sum up to the bigger results. So if your life hasn't radically transformed in 30 days, it doesn't mean you're failing at personal growth. Just keep going. Myth number 3, more awareness automatically leads to change. This is a big one because I often see coaches promoting more awareness as the end game of a process. And that's absolutely not. Awareness is only a starting point. And it's definitely important because it can put language on what's vague. So maybe instead of believing that you're lazy, you understand that you're afraid of being judged. It can also help you to show the obstacles in the road or the triggers so you can actually work on them beforehand to minimize the friction between where you are and your final goal. And it can also give you a lot more perspective, objective perspective, because you finally step out of the situation and observe it from outside so you can understand what's actually going on. With awareness, you start focusing less on the symptoms and you start understanding the root cause of a situation. And this is a great first step, but I can guarantee you that's not enough. I work with very different type of clients. They all have different starting points and life situations and even different sets of goals. But the one thing that my most successful clients all have in common is that they take action. They take that awareness and they make something out of it. By now, you know, I love analogies, so I'm going to give you one. When you go to the doctor and they explain you what you have, understanding what's going on in your body does not make a difference in your condition. You need to take action based on that new information. Otherwise, the situation will be exactly the same. Now, I'm going to say something that might piss off something, but I find that sometimes the limit of therapy is right there. Therapy is amazing to work on the awareness. You carve inside yourself, you find the root causes, and there it stays. Traditional therapy is very much focused on the past and the present. And that's where coaching, which is complementary to therapy, when it's well done and ethic coaching, comes in. Because we focus on the future and on the responsibility of doing something with that. So more awareness creates the opportunity for change. But the awareness plus the action, that's what really creates the transformation or the shift. Because otherwise, listening to podcasts and reading books will be enough. And you know how they say you can read as much as you want about swimming, but until you get into the water and apply what you read, you'll never learn how to swim. Time for myth number 4, which is a good coach will give you all the answers. This is a big misconception. And unfortunately, I see it quite often when I do discovery sessions with new potential clients. From the first, let's say, 5 minutes of a conversation, I can tell who is there to really work on themselves and put in the work into it and ready for the coaching process, and who is there to just get solutions from me. And I will tell you why trying to get solutions from me or from any other coach is a wrong approach. First of all, because we don't have all the answers. Coaches are not experts on everything. And those who tell you that they're lying through their teeth. Or they have a huge ego and a self-awareness problem, I'm telling you. We don't have the answers to everything. And I will tell you more, even if we had those answers, they would be highly skewed. They would be filtered and interpreted and based on ourselves, on our experiences, on our personalities and our own reality. So we will give you a very filtered answer that can actually cause more harm than good, because you might have a completely different situation. So good coaching does not give answers. What we do is that we create the space for you to find those answers. We ask you questions you don't even know you needed to find answers to. And the other reason why good coaching does not give solutions is because we would take away the responsibility from you. And when I say responsibility, I mean it in the literal sense of the word, the ability to respond. If I were to give a solution to every question my clients have, I would make them very dependable on me. They will potentially need me or any other coach forever because there will always be something you don't know. And I've left my favorite at the end, myth number 5, which is coaches are fake gurus and charlatans. And it's my favorite because this is not entirely false, and that's the very reason why I want to talk about it. Unfortunately, there are many self-proclaimed coaches out there that are real charlatans. The first problem is that this industry, which is big, I'm telling you, it's huge, is very unregulated, which means that anyone can wake up today and call themselves a coach without a proper training. The other day, I was scrolling on Instagram and a story came up. It was an advertisement for a course on a pretty famous platform where you could become a certified coach, with a $17 course of like 50 hours of pre-recorded videos. Pre-recorded content, not even live, not even monitored, not even supervised. I clicked on to check, and that course had hundreds of purchases. Hundreds. That means that potentially there are hundreds of people out there thinking that they know about coaching, promoting about coaching, and representing coaching without the slightest idea of what being a coach really means. And this is extremely dangerous for those of us who take this job seriously and do it with proper ethics, but also for the client, because they're putting their lives, their dreams, their goals, their future in the hands of someone who has no idea about what they're talking about. This damages the reputation of the whole category. And that's why I say charlatans. And this is where the second problem comes. These self-proclaimed coaches, I will call them by their names, these charlatans, they have clients. And some of them, they even have a huge following on social media. That's a huge problem. And that's the one that you can fix. Because as a consumer, you get to choose where to put your trust. And you have the responsibility and the duty to yourself to do your due diligence before you start working with someone. I would never go to a psychologist that hasn't a degree, or to a physiotherapist that has never been to school, but they write a few books that were passionate about how body works. Please, this is on you. I have clients coming to me after spending huge amounts of money on coaching programs with people that overpromised and delivered little or even caused harm. You can't believe what I had to hear myself and to deal with when I was choosing my own coach. I am surrounded by fellow amazing coaches that do this job with passion, with ethics, and with professionalism. So if you feel that you don't want to work with me for any reason, or you prefer to explore the situation with someone else, just let me know. And I'll refer you to someone who I know how they work and that I trust. Now, if you want to explore by yourself coaches, I just invite you to pay attention to a few things. The first one is, of course, to check if they are properly trained. As I said, the coaching business is still largely regulated, but there are reputable schools and institutes that they have really high quality and ethical trainings. You can check if those trainings are accredited by the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. And then according to where you are in the world, you also have more specific associations that work aligned with the same principles and code of conduct. Also check their digital ecosystem. Personally, quite skeptical when it comes to testimonials on websites, social media, and Google, but that's my problem. But I often use LinkedIn recommendations because people are less likely to lie if there is their face and full name. And for sure, you need to trust your gut. If there is something that feels shady, if there is any red flag that the coach is not able to clarify for you, just listen to it. Coaching is all about trust. So trust yourself that that feeling in your stomach is there for a reason. After debunking this myth and misconception, I feel like I've done a service to the community. I really believe in the power of education. And of course, I didn't want this to be a lesson, but I hope that after this, you have a better understanding and more clarity about coaching and personal development, and you can really make a conscious decision when it comes to your journey. That's all for this week. Have a fantastic week and make today count. Ciao.